All right, guys, here we are on week 4, module 3, the atomic bomb. For this lesson, we're going to be able to argue if dropping the atomic bomb was justified. Our language objective for today is using the language of justification to express an opinion about dropping the bomb, the atomic bomb. The question, again, ultimately that we're going to answer is, was dropping the atomic bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima justified? Today, by the end of today, you should have your Google Doc finished and turned in, your mastery check taken and submitted in Edulastic. And actually, there's like one more thing. Discussion question posted. All right, some vocabulary that we need to know for this lesson to be successful. You need to be able to justify. So justify means to provide a good reason for doing something. So I can justify giving a refocus because somebody used their phone in class. It's an easy justification. The second vocabulary word for today is atomic bomb. This was the bomb that produces an extremely powerful explosion when atoms are split apart. It was tested and ultimately used on Japan in 1945. And then the world basically decided atomic bomb is no-go. All right, so for our do now today, you're going to think about in the last module how we learned about battles in World War II were fought. We looked closely at the storming of Normandy Beach, also known as D-Day. So we looked at Iwo Jima and the storming of the beach at Normandy. You're going to read this quote below, then you're going to respond to the question. So the quote says, D-Day was the turning point in World War II. It was the United States' entrance into the European War, which meant that war in Europe was sure to end soon. This was said by Sam Crenshaw, who was a U.S. historian in 1987. The question is asking you to think about the author and what they suggest is the most important impact that D-Day had on World War II. So the beginning of the sentence stem says, the author or historian believes the most important impact of D-Day was. Obviously, we could talk about the number of people that died or how it allowed Allied forces to come onto the beaches in France, which Germany had taken. But ultimately, what does he believe? So we're looking at just what the author thinks, not what we can infer from all of our knowledge. But what does the author believe is the most important part of D-Day? And then you're going to pull out from that quote. In his quote, Crenshaw states, so you're going to highlight, copy, paste evidence to support that suggestion. And therefore, without D-Day, what would have happened? All right, let's look at our language activity for today. You're going to look at this chart below, look at the definitions and examples of each word or each form of justify, and then we're going to use that to answer some questions. So the word justify is a verb, just as it stands. And the definition of it is to provide a good reasoning for doing something. We reviewed that in our intro part. An example of this is Mr. Marsh can justify giving you refocus because you cussed in class. That's pretty straightforward. The next one is justified or justifiable. These are adjective forms of justify. It's having a good reason. So today we will talk about dropping how the atomic bomb, or if the atomic bomb was justifiable. Did somebody have a good reason for doing it? And the last one is justification. That form is a noun. It's a reason to support something. My mom took my phone away. Her justification was I failed social studies. If something is not justified, we can use the prefix un. So the example of the action would be unjustified, and the action was unjustifiable. So we're going to read the scenario below. We're going to use that form of justified or unjustified. It was justifiable or unjustifiable. All right, so we'll start right here. In the 7th grade, 7th graders were always super energetic when they came back inside from recess. Some students liked to race each other and wrestle in the hallway. All week, Miss Mendoza reminded them to chill out and follow expectations. But on Thursday, Robert and Gio raced down the hallway so fast that they knocked Miss Mendoza over. "That's it," Miss Mendoza yelled. "I'm sick of this unsafe hallway behavior. 7th grade has lost their recess tomorrow. So based on this scenario with Miss Mendoza, Robert, and Gio, how did Miss Mendoza justify taking away recess for 7th grade? What is it that she used? So Miss Mendoza's justification was that, so when I'm looking at this, I see, was that some students liked to race each other in the hallway when coming in from recess. Okay. Were the actions of Miss Mendoza justified or were they unjustified? So Miss Mendoza's actions were or were not justified, or you could use were justified or unjustified because. So you're trying to decide, is it fair that Miss Mendoza took away everybody's recess the next day? My answer here is going to be, I'm actually going to change this to unjustified, because it was Robert and Gio that ran into Miss Mendoza. So they should be the only ones to lose their recess. Great. Once you finished your response, you're going to click on the next one on the next video.